Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and another video. So today we are going to be discussing all of the books that I read in July of 2025. I do have 10 books that I want to discuss with you guys. Most of them are physical reads. We do have one DNF. And then we do also have a couple of audio reads that I want to discuss as well. So let's just get straight into this video. Okay, so the first book that I picked up was actually, funnily enough, my favorite read of the month and also my only 5-star read, which was Tangled Up in You by Christina Lauren. This is the 4th book in the Are Meant to Be novels that Disney have come out with. They take a classic Disney fairy tale from one of their movies and they ask a romance or contemporary author to basically take that classic fairy tale story and turn it into a modern day novel, essentially. So this one, if you can't tell, it features Rapunzel from the movie Tangled, and this was just amazing and adorable. This kind of started to capture the magic and the whimsical fairy tale vibes that If the Shoe Fits, which was the first one in this series, kind of gave. But this one brought all the vibes back. It was beautiful, it was stunning, I loved it, I wanted to cry, it was so good. So we focus on our main character, Wren. She's basically lived on her farm with her mother and father. She's got no connection with the outside world. She's not even allowed to have a phone. They basically keep her very off-grid and live based off the farm. Wren, without her parents knowing, actually applies for college, and she's really excited to go because she does get in. Her parents are really mad and basically give her a semester of college, but she has to come back every weekend. They're going to pick her up on a Friday night and she's got to come back and do her chores. Whilst she's there, she does a DNA test which reveals that her father may not in fact be her actual dad. And so then basically just chaos ensues. It was insane. It was amazing. I thought it was really great. There was one thing that I just didn't really like, which was that our main character, Fitz, he had a different name, which is, if you know the Tangled movie, you would know that Flynn Rider, that is just a name that he's given himself, like an alias. His actual name is Eugene. They gave him a different first name. They gave him Edward, and I was a bit like, no, it should have just been kept as Eugene. So that irritated me a little bit. But other than that, I thought the story was very true to the essence of Rapunzel and the Tangled movie. And overall, I really enjoyed it. I loved it. It's actually made me really excited to pick up the next one, which has just been released, which is worth fighting for. But yes, 5 stars, kicked my month off amazingly, and I couldn't rate this any higher. Also, just wanted to flag too that if you're interested in these books, you don't actually have to read them in order. They're basically just part of the Meant to Be collection, and none of the books actually connect in any way. Their only connection is that they're Disney classic fairy tales that have got a cute little spin on them. But yeah, you could literally just pick this one up and you wouldn't need to read the other 3 books in the series. And then the second book I picked up was The Throne of Fire by Rick Riordan. This is the second book in the Kane Chronicles. This one was a little bit of a letdown for me. It was 3 stars. So I really quite enjoyed the first book in this series, which was The Red Pyramid. But with this one, I just felt like it was a little repetitive. So we're focusing on Carter and Sadie. They basically found out in the first book that they have what is called the blood of the pharaohs in them, meaning that throughout history, like, their ancestors have been pharaohs, which is really kind of cool. Their father ends up blowing up the Rosetta Stone and freeing some Egyptian gods that were stuck in the Rosetta Stone. And these gods can also, if Sadie and Carter allow it, take over their bodies and inhabit them. And this one just basically continues on the story. We are looking to find the god Ra, who is the sun god, because we have this evil serpent called, I cannot pronounce it for the life of me, so please don't judge me, but it's like Apotsis or something, but he's the evil servant. He's coming back and we're trying to stop that from happening. This book felt so repetitive. The entire journey, we're just trying to find Ra, and that's all we did. I just got a little bit over the story and the concept, and it fell a little flat for me. I did still really enjoy that it was told through like a podcast perspective, but yeah, overall it got a little dull for me and repetitive, and I didn't super love it, but I am excited to pick up third and final book and kind of finish this one off. But yeah, 3 stars. And then the third book I picked up was my first audiobook read for the month of July, and that was The Widow's Husband's Secret Lie by Frida McFadden. This was I think my second Frida McFadden novel. I hated this, okay? I rated it 2 stars. This was horrendous. It was like a 3-hour novella audiobook, and it was really, really weird. So we had our main character, Alice, and she had a husband, Grant, and Grant went missing, and then Grant wound up dead. But then she kept seeing Grant everywhere. She then thought she made up her best friend as well. It was a really weird, I can't think of it, but on the title of the book, it's going to say something about it being like a satirical novella. So it's meant to be like a funny thriller. I did not find it funny. I found it really stupid, unlikable, unrealistic, and just bloody bizarre, and not in a way that I found enjoyable. Hence why I gave it 2 stars. It mostly just made me mad. And I was mostly just relieved that it went for 3 hours. The whole thing was just bonkers in the worst way possible. I can see what she was trying to do. I just didn't like the execution, and I didn't enjoy it. So hence 2 stars. And it made me really think that Frida McFadden wasn't going to be an author whose books I enjoyed very much. But then we went on to book 4, which was The Plus One by Maisie Eddings. This is the 3rd and final book in the A Brush with Love kind of trilogy that she had. It focuses on 4 best friends. Unfortunately, the 4th best friend is in a very stable, loving relationship from day dot of the book series. So that's why I guess why she didn't get a book. So this one we focus on our main characters, Indra and Jude. So they were sort of like childhood friends, sort of. And by that, I mean Jude was best friends with her older brother. I feel like it's Colin. And so they kind of had, I guess, a little friendship growing up when they were kids. They're now adults. Indra is basically in a relationship with her current boyfriend, whose name I can't remember and is not worth remembering. I'm going to call him Matthew. She's in a relationship with Matthew, and she comes in one day after leaving work early to surprise him, to spend time with him because they haven't really been connecting very well, to discover him covered in peanut butter, making out with another chick also covered in peanut butter. Needless to say, the relationship ends, and she moves in with her brother, who is currently engaged to another man, and I cannot remember his name, and it's frustrating me a little bit. Jeremy. She moves into their place, but also enter Jude in order to not have to have a massive debt following college because he's studying to be a doctor. He decides to elect to go through his studying and his degree through like a humanitarian group. And the deal is that this humanitarian group will put you through college and pay for all of your expenses as long as you work with them for the next, I can't remember, it's like 4 to 10, it's not 10 years, it's like 4 to 8 years. After your degree's finished, they will send you to any country in the world. They're mostly third world countries that are having humanitarian crisis, so they've got wars and all of this stuff going on. And these people are sent there to have to provide care to the civilians in these towns and these cities. So he's been doing that. He's ended up getting a break from it to come to his best friend's wedding because he is the best man. And they don't really get along very well. They've got a little hate to love, enemies to lovers relationship. Jude is really suffering with his mental health, and he has anxiety attacks quite a lot. Indra is a psychologist, and she picks up on this quite quickly. And they basically make an agreement that they're going to fake date because unfortunately her ex Matthew, his cousin is Jeremy, and he's in the wedding party as well. Jude agrees he's going to be her date to events so that she doesn't, have to put up with him and his new girlfriend being there because they've hard launched. And it was super cute. I gave it 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely probably my second favorite Maisie Eddings novel that I've read. And it was just a cute, fun way to wrap up this series. But overall, I had a great time with this book. And then we have book 5, which was Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. This book confused me for the most part, guys. I didn't know what was going on. So this book focuses on Japanese mythology, and the mythology is that, I can't remember, it was like an emperor or a lord in Japan thousands and thousands of years ago decided he wanted to track down this dragon, raise it from the ocean, and force it to grant him a wish. Now, unfortunately, that didn't work out for this guy. And this dragon put out into the world 3 scrolls every 1,000 years. He's going to rise from the ocean, and the bearer of the 3 scrolls, who's also got a good soul or heart or something, he's going to grant their wish. I don't really remember how or and why, but that's just the mythology. Obviously, we're coming up to the 1,000 year mark. We are focusing on our main character, Yumiko. She is a peasant girl who is living in this temple where one of the scrolls currently lives, and we got some demons attacking the temple, and Yumiko basically ends up on the run with one of the scrolls. She's got Kage Tatsunu, who's basically got a demon sword protecting her. He's trying to find the scrolls, but he doesn't know she's got it. It was just a lot of on the run. We're in a forest for most of the time. I was a little bored. I was a little confused. There were a couple different storylines, and I got lost. I really enjoyed how the book started, where we focused on a different character who was kind of the villain in this story. I was more intrigued by that aspect than what we actually got. I rated it 3 stars. I'm going to be honest, I got lost. I got confused. I am picking up the sequels because they are part of the 25 books I want to read in 2025. If I didn't own the sequels, I probably wouldn't have picked them up based off this book because I just got very lost in it. Like, Julie Kagawa's writing is really easy to read and I really quite enjoy her writing. The Japanese mythology and the terms, I just got very, very lost in them and I didn't really know what was going on. So that's why I did rate this 3 stars. And then book 6, I actually want to talk about. It was my only DNF for the month, and that was To Hate Adam Connor by Ella Mays. Now, if you watched my June reading wrap up, I started the first book in this little series called To Love Jason Thorne, and I DNF'd that book because I couldn't stand it. In that book, we met Alice, who was the best friend of the main character. I hated her with a passion. She was so immature. I couldn't cope with her. She just frustrated me to no end. This was her story. So I went into this expecting to DNF it. And honestly, she was a bit more likable in this book, but I genuinely, I just didn't care. I was reading it and I had no interest. Her best friend is married to Jason Thorne, who is a movie star. Adam Connor is also a movie star who's just gotten divorced from his wife. He now has custody. They're sharing custody of their son. Alice, I think, somehow gets involved to be the nanny. I read 30 pages, didn't really care, and then read the epilogue and went, yeah, okay, I'm good. I just don't care for these stories. I just found them really immature, childish, just not for me, and I didn't enjoy them, and I'm just not going to read stuff I don't enjoy. So that was book 6. And then book 7, guys, I'm really excited about because it was the second book we've read as part of our book club. And that was Holding the Reins by Paisley Hope. This is a cowboy romance. Would like to just preface that there were no cowboys. There were no horses because this was more a sports romance. We focus on our main characters, Cece and Nash. Nash is a retired hockey player. He's come back to his small town and he's built up their sports center and made it a space where the kids in the community can actually use it. And then we have Cece, who has returned back home to her family's ranch because her ex-fiance Andrew was also cheating on her and had been cheating on her for most of their 4-year relationship. So she breaks up with him, leaves the city, and comes back home to the family ranch. She ends up getting a job working at Nash's sports center as the accountant. They sort of have feelings for one another because Nash is also 4th child in the family, really good friends with her 2 older brothers. If you're thinking this sounds like Done and Dusted a little bit by Layla Sage, you wouldn't be wrong. It was literally a copy and paste of that family dynamic and structure to a point that the sequels in this book literally follow the similar plotline that the first 3 books in the Lila Sage series has also had. So I was a little bit disappointed that it was like a carbon copy of that, but didn't really do it any better. Nash was a little bit of a red flag. Didn't super love him. This didn't do anything new. It is not a cowboy romance. They literally just live on a ranch and they wear cowboy hats and cowboy boots and they do a little bit of work on the ranch. That doesn't make you a cowboy, Nash, okay? You are a hockey player. You're an athlete. This was a sports romance. Can we please market it as such? Overall, I wrote down 4 stars, but it was more like 3.75. But honestly, I'd drop it down to maybe even 3 stars right now. I'm just, upon reflection, really over it. I found that it was a very spicy book, but I didn't enjoy the spice and I got sick of it to a point that I was skim reading through it. And towards the middle to the end, when the spice really kind of ramped up, we lost the plot and I just didn't really enjoy it from that aspect. So I'm on the fence as to whether I would pick up the sequels, just because I feel like the Lila Sage books did this story better. And then book 8 was another audio read. It was The Co-Worker by Frida McFadden. Let me tell you this book redeemed Frida McFadden for me because I was kind of wondering why she was so popular because the 2 books I'd read by her were a little bit insane. This one was a 4-star read. We focus on our main characters, Natalie and Dawn. They are co-workers. Natalie is like the top salesperson for this vitamins company that they work for, and Dawn is the accountant different. It has like Dawn's point of view in the past, maximum 12 months, but slowly comes up to present day. And then you have Natalie's perspective here currently in present day. And she rocks up to work and realizes that Dawn is missing, which she finds really weird because Dawn is someone that is always on time. She's very, very, very structured, type A personality, probably on the spectrum, and completely obsessed with turtles. Yeah, Dawn goes missing. Natalie ends up rocking up to her house because she's really worried that Dawn hasn't rocked up. She answered a phone call through Dawn's number and it was someone just saying, help me, and it sounded like Dawn. She's really terrified that something has happened, and she goes to Dawn's house and discovers that there's just blood everywhere, and she is terrified that Dawn has been murdered, and then she becomes suspect number one in Dawn's murder. There were plot twists that I just didn't see coming in this one. I did really enjoy it. There were far too many references to turtles for my liking, but you do you, Dawn. It was a weird story, but like it made sense for the plot line and the characters, and like there were just like the plot twists kept coming from the mid to the end of the book, and I was shook. I was on the edge of my seat. I wasn't able to do anything. I was listening to it. I actually had a really great time with this audiobook, which historically I haven't had great times with audiobooks, so I was really glad to like read this one and really quite enjoy it. And it's made me excited to pick up some other Frida McFadden novels because she's got quite a big backlog. And then book 9 was Sweet and Bitter Magic by Adrienne Tooley. This is a YA fantasy focusing on a witch and a source. So we have our witch Tamsin, at the age of 12, did some dark magic in order to save somebody. Dark magic is forbidden in their world because if you do dark magic, you have to pull it from the earth, and then the earth retaliates by basically creating a plague that then impacts all of the civilians who don't have any magic. She did this, and unfortunately she has been banished, but she's then also cursed with she now does not have the ability to feel love. We then have our other main character, Ren. She is the source. So source means that she can see magic, but she is unable to actually cast a spell. All she can also do is that act as like a little battery for the witches, meaning that if they kind of like touch or connect with her, she can give her magic to the witch to power them so that they're able to keep doing spells. And what happens is that we have a new dark witch, and she unleashes quite a bad plague onto the land, and unfortunately Ren's father gets taken down with the plague. Ren goes to Tamsin to try and ask her to help her take down the dark witch, and Tamsin agrees as long as Ren is willing to hand over her love for her father. So the two of them have to journey to the Witchlands to find out some more information about the Dark Witch and then confront and defeat her. This for me was a 3.5 star read. It was very simple, very easy. I think like a very nice kind of cozy introduction into fantasy if you're wanting to get into it and you're a little bit younger. I did also want to preface as well that this is a sapphic, I believe, romance, meaning that our two main characters are falling in love with one another as well. So yeah, it was just cute. It was sweet. It was very simple, very basic, very easy to read. A very light, cozy, fun, low stakes fantasy read, and I really enjoyed it. And there were some things that I did guess about it, which didn't take away from the story. I did enjoy it for the most part. It was just really sweet, and I'm glad that I have finally picked this one up. And then our 10th and final read was Swept Away by Beth O'Leary. Guys, I was a little disappointed by this book. I normally really enjoy her books, generally rate them anywhere from 4 to 5 stars. This one, I gave 3 stars, guys. We have our two main characters, Lexi and Zeke. They have a one-night stand on Zeke's houseboat, and during the course of the night, their houseboat wasn't actually moored properly to the marina, and they float out to sea, and they don't realize it until the next morning when they're having an argument over who owns the houseboat, and then they have to spend the next 11 to 12 days on this houseboat with essentially a stranger. And you know what? I found this a little dull. And to be honest, I don't know why that premise excited me so much, because we got to like day 3 or day 4 and I was very much like, I'm over being lost at sea. I'm done with this. Can we do something else? It just got boring because there's not much to do. You're stuck on a houseboat. Like there's nothing to do. Like it's just repetitive, and God love Beth O'Leary. She tried her best to give us some different things in each of the days, but overall, I just found it a little dull. I really didn't enjoy Lexi as a main character. She was in her 30s. Zeke was like 23. She was just like a little bit of a bitch, and I just didn't like her very much as a character, which was a little disappointing for me because usually Beth O'Leary books are hits for me. That's fine. This one was a little bit of a miss. So the cover is still stunning. I'm happy to have it on my shelf, but overall I didn't really rate it. There were too many secrets, too many unknown questions over people's parentage in this book for my liking, and I was a little like icky about the fact that they were stuck on a boat together for 10 days. I mean, for 12 days. At the end of the 12 days, they're like saying how they love one another, but it was just like a little insta-lovey, and you've got trauma. Please don't say that you love somebody you've only known for 12 days. It was just a little icky for me. I didn't really love the age gap. I'm not a fan of age gap romances whatsoever. This one just didn't really hit the way that I was hoping for it to hit, which is fine. Okay guys, they are the 10 books that I read in the month of July. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have read any of these books, please let me know your thoughts below in the comments. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys in a couple of weeks for another video. Bye.